Hello, my name's Kelli Fennell. I am an attorney at the law offices of Tapia-Ruano Gunn. Our firm has two offices in Chicago, one downtown in the Loop and the second in the neighborhood of Logan Square. As an immigration attorney, I have experience representing clients seeking immigration benefits in a variety of applications filed with US Citizenship and Immigration Services and also with the Immigration Court. First, it's important to understand that the information I'm giving you today is not legal advice. It's just general information about applying for US citizenship. If you want information or legal advice about your specific case, you should contact an immigration attorney. Our office is happy to offer free consultations to people seeking information about applying for US citizenship and for various other immigration benefits. Today, we're going to talk specifically about applying for US citizenship. What are the general requirements? First, you have to be at least 18 years old. Second, you have to have been a permanent resident in the United States for 5 years. You also have to prove that you've been a person of good moral character for the 5 years preceding your application. And you should be prepared to live in the United States from the moment you file that application with US Citizenship and Immigration Services up until the point that your application is approved and you receive US citizenship. Now, you've heard the general requirements and you think you might be eligible to file for US citizenship. What should you do? First, you should schedule a consultation with an immigration attorney to talk about your case specifically. I recommend talking to an immigration attorney to determine first whether applying for citizenship is actually in your best interest and to confirm that you're actually eligible for the benefit that you're seeking from immigration. Then, after that, you should prepare and file your application for citizenship. The application for citizenship is called the Application for Naturalization, and it's the Form N-400. And again, I want to reiterate that I strongly recommend consulting with an immigration attorney and hiring an immigration attorney to represent you in your application. A few weeks after you file your application, you'll get a receipt notice in the mail from US Citizenship and Immigration Services. That receipt notice just confirms that USCIS has received your application and is processing your application. A few weeks after you get that receipt notice, you should receive a paper notice in the mail to have your fingerprints, photo, and signature taken at a place called an Application Support Center. A few months after you file your application for citizenship, you'll receive an interview notice scheduling you to have an interview at your US Citizenship and Immigration Field Office with an immigration officer. Usually, especially in the Chicago area, the time between filing your application and getting your interview is approximately 6 months and may actually even be longer. During your interview at immigration, the officer is going to place you under oath and ask you questions that come from your application and other relevant questions about you and your history. It's important to remember that you are under oath and that you should tell the officer the truth. If you give the officer any misleading or incorrect information, the officer could consider that you've lied and deny your application for fraud. Also, as part of the interview, you're going to be required to take a US civics exam. This exam is going to cover US government, US history, and US geography. The test is made up of 10 questions, and you have to answer 6 of those 10 questions correctly to pass. Also, the officer is going to test your knowledge of the English language. They'll have you read a sentence in English, and they'll also have you write a simple sentence in English. But you should be aware that the officer is going to use the entire interview as a test to see whether you speak and understand English. Note that certain applicants do not have to take the English language test and can even take the civics test in their first language. That's going to depend on 1, your age, and 2, how long you've been a permanent resident in the United States. After the interview, the officer will tell you whether or not they're able to make a decision on your case with the information that they have. However, the officer is not going to issue a decision on your application that day. You will get a formal notice in the mail within the next few weeks advising you that your application was approved and also scheduling you for what's called the oath ceremony. At that oath ceremony, you will also get your certificate of naturalization. That's the document that confirms you are a US citizen. Today we covered general basic information about applying for US citizenship or doing an application for naturalization. I hope you found this information useful. Please remember that the information that I gave you today is not legal advice, it's just general information, and it's been offered as a public service by our law firm, Tapia-Ruano Gunn. If you do want legal advice or to ask questions about your specific case, you should contact our office to schedule a free consultation. The number and the email are listed below. Thank you.